Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today we are here to take a look at 10 movies that Netflix is holding hostage and refuse to put on physical media. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. Alright, so movies that Netflix is holding hostage on streaming and just flat out refuse to put out on physical media. This is something that they started doing. They put out a couple of seasons of Stranger Things, and then they stopped doing that. The only way we've gotten anything off Netflix for the most part is if the Criterion Collection has come in with their pull and got some things out of there. Uncut Gems, a couple of others like that the Criterion has been able to pull out. But for the most part, Netflix says no. They want to keep you having to pay those streaming rates. And while this is just 10 movies that they're holding hostage, there are other movies that are really good that aren't on this list. There's one with Eddie Murphy. I believe the name is Dolomite. And I watched that again recently. I watched it a while back. Really good movie. No physical media. But these 10 particularly are very surprising, and they just want to keep you on streaming. Let's jump into the list. I want to see these movies on physical media. Number 10, maybe the most controversial. A lot of people don't like this. They find it cheesy. I enjoyed it. I think it's a fun, ridiculous ride. I'm talking about Red Notice. This stars The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. And while I think Gal Gadot, I think her time is I don't know, she doesn't have the star power pull that she did, like when she cranked out that first Wonder Woman movie. But this movie is fun. Ryan Reynolds and The Rock, definitely, no matter how you feel about The Rock, whether you think he's campy, action hero, whatever, he definitely has charisma and the stardom. Ryan Reynolds, the same story. And The Rock is like an agent in this, and he goes after Ryan Reynolds, who's like the world's second greatest art thief, and they have to team up to catch the world's greatest art thief, played by Gal Gadot. And it's pretty fun. I mean, it is. There are some times that you have to suspend disbelief, like Gal Gadot throwing The Rock around in fighting. Like, just the physics of that doesn't work. Maybe they kind of explain a little bit of that in there, but the movie is fun. Ryan Reynolds is very Ryan Reynolds. The Rock is very The Rock. And Gal Gadot is Gal Gadot. But I think it's fun. It definitely deserves a physical media release. So Red Notice comes in on our list at number 10. Now, at number 9 on the list is for fans of Knives Out. This is a Rian Johnson film. Is that how you say his name? I don't like this one as much as I like Knives Out, but I still like a good mystery. This one is a little more comedy in my opinion. I am talking about Glass Onion. I think this one's from 2022. You have Daniel Craig back. You have Edward Norton in here. You have Hugh Grant in this movie. Kate Hudson's in this movie. And you have 5 friends. They're wealthy. They go to this Greek island, and they're going to do a murder mystery weekend game type thing. And they invite Daniel Craig to the island, his Benoit Blanc, I think. That's how I butcher names sometimes, guys, especially those French names. But he still has his southern type accent, you know. But it is a fun movie. It's not as good as Knives Out. It deserves to be on this list. Because if you have Knives Out setting over there with its beautiful, nice 4K, you should be able to pair it up with Glass Onion and have both of those movies. They're companion pieces, but instead you have one that's available and one that's locked out on you. So Glass Onion comes in on our list at number 9. Now, at number 8 on the list is one that made big waves just a few years ago. This is 2018's Bird Box. Now, this stars Sandra Bullock. You've got John Malkovich in here. This is kind of this was a big deal. This was a big movie. It's after an unknown global terror. We don't really know what's going on. A mother has to flee with her children and navigate down a crazy, treacherous river. And all of this due to the unforeseen circumstances that we don't know to start with anything, really. She has to do all of this blindfolded. And so, of course, this is the movie that spawned a million memes with the blindfold on, looking around, everything from referees to what have you get made fun of with Bird Box and the blindfolded Sandra Bullock. But this was a huge movie. Movies like this that are so widespread and widely known, they need to have physical media releases. You should not have to be dependent on a streaming forever and have an internet and have streaming and all that to be able to see movies like this. So Bird Box definitely has to be on this list. It comes in at number 8. Now, number 7 on this list is an award-winning film, award-nominated film. I'm talking about 2021's Don't Look Up. This stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence. You have Meryl Streep in here, Cate Blanchett, Jonah Hill. This movie was nominated for Best Picture and Best Writing, I believe. And so this is kind of like a satirical commentary on a comment on a few things. Among those things might be our inability to pull ourselves out of our social media habits and our online habits and our own little universes and pay attention to what's going on around us. And while I agree with that, there's definitely parts of this that are heavy-handed. It got kind of panned and beat a little bit because of that. I think Rotten, this is a Best Picture and Writing nominee, and it still only has a 41% on Rotten Tomatoes, a critic score. It's an asteroid is headed towards the Earth, and people can't look away from their stuff, from their phones, all that kind of stuff, enough to even pay attention, to even care. They're just kind of sticking their head in the sand and not paying attention until it's too late. And that part might not be far off, like I mentioned, but the film kind of gets way too buried by its messaging and message pushing, and that's been the critic knock. But still, a movie like this that's been nominated for awards, that movie needs to be able to own physically. Whether you like the movie or not, you should be able to get it. And this is one that's just being held hostage from you. So Don't Look Up, all-star cast, heavy-handed or not, it belongs on this list. It belongs on physical media. It comes in at number 7. Now, number 6 on the list is probably the newest one. And this is one 100% has to come out on physical media because it's the 4th movie in a franchise, and all 3 others are famously have 4K releases, been around for a long time. One of the most famous franchises in the history of cinema. I am talking about Beverly Hills Cop 4 or Beverly Hills Cop Axel F from just 2024. So, brand new movie. This movie's got the whole band back together. Everybody, and of course, John Astin, who played Taggart, he passed away not long after this premiered, but he's in the movie. He reprises his role. So does Judge Reinhold. So does Eddie Murphy as Axel Foley. It has all the vibes. It has the same music, soundtrack bringing back in, but you also throw in Joseph Gordon-Levitt into the movie, Kevin Bacon into the movie. Beverly Hills Cop, it's 80s made. It's 1980s, 80s nostalgia, physical media, 80s goodness, 80s junk food, action movie. You got to have it. It's got to be on physical media so it can go along with the other 3 in the franchise. No question, Beverly Hills Cop 4, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F from 2024 needs a physical media release. It comes in at number 6. Now, number 5 on the list is one that, for some reason, got an NC-17 rating. And I really think that was more because Netflix doesn't even really have to rate their stuff. They can do pretty much what they want. I think it was for publicity because the movie is nowhere near that kind of explicit nature, in my opinion. I've seen way worse that gets an R rating, but I am a big Marilyn Monroe fan. I'm talking about 2022's Blonde. Now, this stars Ana de Armas as Marilyn Monroe, and it's loosely based on it's based on a best-selling novel by Joyce. I want to make sure I get her name right. Joyce Carol Oates. That kind of reimagines the life of like one of the most famous and enduring stars in Hollywood history, Marilyn Monroe. I love Marilyn. I've painted pictures of Marilyn. I'm a big Marilyn fan. Some Like It Hot is my favorite movie. I watched Blonde multiple times, and I go back and forth on it. I think Ana de Armas did pretty good. I actually think the best portrayal of Marilyn Monroe for me was Michelle Williams in My Week with Marilyn. I think that's the best movie about Marilyn that has been done, really. But Blonde is good. It's not complete. It's not like a truthful. It's a reimagining of her life, but it's very intriguing. It's very beautifully shot in some places. It is one of those with the cinematography and the colors. It's crying out for a physical media release. I want anything Marilyn Monroe that I can get as far as movies go like that. So it needs to be on physical media. It's another big title with an iconic character being portrayed that's being held hostage. So Blonde, the Marilyn Monroe movie with Ana de Armas playing Marilyn Monroe, definitely needs a physical media release. It comes in at number 5 on this list. Now, number 4 on this list is one that takes a little bit of turn. It's a lot more lighthearted, but has one of my top 5 favorite actors of all time in it. And I've talked about this movie a few times on this channel if you follow me, but I am talking about The Christmas Chronicles. This stars Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn. Their son, Oliver Hudson, is in this movie. And Kurt Russell plays Santa Claus, and he plays a badass, awesome, fun, cool Santa Claus. And you have Goldie Hawn playing his wife. You have her as Mrs. Claus. And basically Santa Claus teams up with these two kids, one who had lost his belief in Santa and just belief in everything after losing their father. And they go on this adventure where they basically have to save Christmas. Kurt Russell has a musical performance as a rocking Santa Claus. I love the take on Santa. I love how he looks as Santa. This is an underrated movie that I love so much. I think he is just a awesome Santa Claus. And the part where he's got his sunglasses on as Santa Claus and he's singing and performing a whole little aside like rock performance, y'all, worth the price of admission. There's actually 2 of these movies. I like the first one much better. They both should be on physical media. I want them in my collection with my Christmas movies to watch for years to come. I don't want to have to depend on getting Netflix forever to do that. We deserve them on physical media. They should not be able to monopolize things like that, in my opinion, and make you have to pay forever to watch the same movie that you love. But Christmas Chronicles comes in on my list at number 4. Now, at number 3 on my list is a Mick G movie. And if you don't know who Mick G is like a producer and a guy behind like Supernatural, Chuck. He's been part of some fun shows out there, TV shows and movies that you probably don't even know. Look him up and you'll know. But I'm talking about 2017's The Babysitter. Now, this stars Samara Weaving, who's doing a lot of things. She's a really good actress working right now. And it's got Judah Lewis, who also is in The Christmas Chronicles. This movie goes, you think it's going to just be fun, and it kind of takes a pretty dark turn. Judah Lewis plays, I think the kid's name is Cole. He has like what every almost teenage prepubescent boy could want. He has a beautiful babysitter. He's just right at that age where he really doesn't need a babysitter, but there's still one there. So he's old enough where he enjoys a beautiful babysitter being there. She might not be everything that she seems. She catches him staying up past his bedtime. He ain't no big deal. Well, it is a big deal because she just happens to be doing a satanic ritual, and she's part of a group of Satanists, and they're killing someone as part of this ritual, and he sees it. And that launches out the whole movie concept, because now he has to survive the night, and they will do anything in the world to silence him. So it's kind of lighthearted, kind of dark comedy at the same time. So you got horror working here. You got like teen vibes here. You've got regular comedy, dark comedy, horror. You've got this weird mix, and it just works. And it's well acted. The way they react to like the horror scenes in this is funny. It's almost like Tucker and Dale versus Evil in some sort of ways. If you've ever seen that movie, it's kind of like that horror dark comedy. But The Babysitter is one. I mean, for horror fans of movies like that, we want our stuff on physical media. Give us a big, cool box set release of that with Samara Weaving on there, and like her shades and her Daisy Dukes and all that kind of stuff with that almost like an 80s flair to it, would sell just buku out there, just buku copies. And The Babysitter, it's from 2017. It's already going on 8 years old, so it doesn't look like we're ever getting it. They're holding it hostage. It comes in at number 3. Now, number 2 on the list might be the darkest film on this list, and it is a Mike Flanagan film. So we have some hope here, because he did just rescue Hush from Netflix. Like, he got a hold of his own stuff and he pulled that out there. We got a beautiful release from Scream Factory of Hush, all this different stuff. And it shows what you can do with these films if you get it out. Let me see if I can grab it for you guys real quick. So you can, if you can rescue some of these movies, you can get these awesome releases like this on physical media, where you get multiple discs, you get all kinds of special features from the directors, writers, actors, multiple cuts of the film, stuff that you've never seen before. If you can put it on physical media, that's all available. That's why it's so important. He also did this next movie. The number 2 on the list is Gerald's Game. Now, this is based on a Stephen King story, and it's pretty dark. Carla Gugino, beautiful. I've had a crush on Carla Gugino since like Son-in-Law. I mean, I just thought she was so beautiful. And she's just always fun, cool characters that she plays. Tough characters. She's a great actress. And Bruce Greenwood, who's done tons of things, he's in this movie, and he plays Gerald. She plays Jessie. Jessie and Gerald are kind of struggling in their marriage, their relationship, and they're going to spice things up, and they're going to go to a remote lake house, like lake cabin. And they get up to some games, some fun games between a married couple, and she gets handcuffed to a bed, and it's all going well and good until Gerald has a heart attack and dies, and she is handcuffed to the bed. And a lot of the rest of the movie is her, trying to save her life and deal with like what's happening at hand, the problems at hand, deal with these problems, but also deal with her past psychological problems and demons, things that happened to her in her past. And she needs to reconcile all that. All that is part of why her current relationship with Gerald was not working the right way, because there was so much buried in her past. And she's got to confront all that stuff as she's trying to survive and escape. And man, it gets gruesome and rough with her trying to escape. There's also one other element to this that is like somewhat supernatural. There's like or is it? That's the question. There is a dark figure that she keeps seeing? Is his face is messed up looking? Is he some kind of demon? Is he a serial killer? Is he really there? Is he a figment of her imagination? A lot of stuff goes in and out of a dreamlike sequence, whether if it's in her head or not in her head. We don't know, but there are some clues, like when things kind of go a certain color, you're in a dream world. When they're different, you're in the real world. But you're going to get fed a steady diet of like tension, scares, confusion, hope, denial. You're going to run through all these different things, and there's going to be some parts. I'm just going to keep grabbing my wrist. There's going to be some parts that make you kind of turn away, and you're basically forced. Once you go into this movie, you yourself are forced to take part in Gerald's game. Pretty twisted, but it is a Flanagan film based on a Stephen King story. You got to have this on physical media. We need this kind of release with all the bells, whistles, extras, extra cuts, extra scenes, different endings, actors and directors talking stuff. That's what we need, and hopefully, like Hush, we will get it. It's been 8 years, so we'll see. Now, number one on my list, if you follow me, you know this is a comfort movie for me. And this is one that if you don't get movies on physical media, if you try to hold movies hostage from people, people will eventually take matters into their own hands. I love this movie. I was not going to be beholden to it forever on Netflix, or if my internet went out or anything like that. I'm talking about 2020's Hubie Halloween. Now, yes, I'm holding it on physical media. It doesn't have a physical media release. These are what's known as homebrews, right? Where people get tired of someone monopolizing creative creations. You can't monopolize art. Movies are art. You shouldn't monopolize them that way to try to make someone pay forever again and again and again and again and again to have access to a piece of art. It's not acceptable in my opinion. It's not what the filmmakers had in mind, and then they don't pay the filmmakers that well either, anybody behind it. So you get people who create things at home, right? And while I don't condone that, and I normally don't do that, this is one of my favorite like comfort movies. It's a silly Adam Sandler movie. I love Halloween. I love the heart in this movie. I never get tired of watching this movie in the fall or whatever. I will just put it on. It makes me feel happy and gives me all the good vibes. And I'm not willing to give that up. And so that's what will happen if you continue to hold these. But it would be much better to get it done the right way. And but Hubie Halloween for me is just one that I was not willing to wait. And that's what's going to happen with more and more things. But let's do them the right way, where people can get them the right way and everyone gets paid the right way. And we get, this is a 4-disc set full of extras, 2 whole different cuts of the film, one in black and white with no soundtrack, different stuff. It's the Hush cut, the Shush cut. You get posters and all this kind of stuff. You get picture-in-picture windows of the directors and actors talking about the movie. Just stuff that you're never going to get on streaming, and that's why they can't hold these hostage forever. Somebody needs to put the pressure. The filmmakers need to get on there and put pressure on them, because all of these movies are being held hostage, and they deserve to be on physical media with beautiful physical media releases. And that's what I got for you this time. There's definitely others. Maybe we'll get to them if you guys want me to dig into that more. But these were definitely on my mind. I want to hold them in my hand. I want to have beautiful, like Blonde. Do you imagine a black and white limited edition big box set with Ana de Armas as Marilyn Monroe on the front? I mean, forget about it. Come on. But that's what I got for you today. We do all kinds of things here. Movie recommendation lists, rankings lists, 4K reviews, physical media news, all kinds of stuff. If it's movies on physical media, movie recommendations, it's all going to be right here. And I don't always have them all. Sometimes I'll tell you to try before you buy on the streaming and then go buy them because I'm a physical media lover and I love movies. But we do it all here. If you are into that kind of thing, you can like and subscribe because that helps out the channel. And if you want to help support the channel, you can join below at my Patreon link or right here on YouTube. Become a channel member, get your name and lights on every single video, get behind the scenes looks at my filmmaking, short films I've done, all kinds of stuff, gag reels, all those kind of special features like I was just talking about, members only videos, so much more, and it all helps out the channel. I would usually say right now that I would link these movies to where you can grab them off of Amazon, and that would help out the channel, except for you can't do that because they're being held hostage. But I have a storefront, and I have all kinds of cool movie recommendations there that you can get on Amazon, and I have some down here in my links. You can find the link to all that below. And that is what I got for you. I really appreciate your support, and until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
I know.